does a fire eater swallow a flaming torch?
Close your mouth.
You know how much fun it is, but for the performers and riggers, a lot of work comes before and after the show. To find out if circus life is for them, 50 high school and college kids join Circus Kirk for a tour each year. Studio C traveled with the student circus throughout Pennsylvania, and our guides to circus life were Tom Sikorsky, who with his brothers Albert and Larry formed the Sikorsky Brothers, a juggling and unicycle act.
The interesting thing about Circus Kirk is that it's different than a larger circus, professional circus. People here have a chance to do things that they wouldn't have a chance to do in a normal show.
Karen Felt, who performs on the spinning Spanish web.
Doc has always wanted the circus to be very traditional. Everything right how it would have been when circus first started coming into appearance.
And Circus Kirk's swinging single trapeze artist, Mary Constance Boas.
Well, most people that come here don't know what they're getting into. And they couldn't believe what setup and teardown involved with most of your day, most of your time, and all your energy and everything.
A circus day for me and for everyone on the lot begins very early.
Around 5 or 5:15, and the superintendent comes around with a sledgehammer handle.
Barney comes around pounding on the doors to wake us all up.
Morning, Gordon.
If you've ever been asleep for 4 hours after working all day and a guy came along and beat on the side of the truck you were sleeping in, it'd wake you up, let me tell you.
And then we get into the trucks and right onto the next lot.
And when we get to the next lot, we're still half asleep, and we stumble, wait for our trucks to come in.
And then we immediately start setting up.
There's different crews, like there's a crew that sets up the small tents, there's a crew that sets up sideshow, and then there's a big top crew. Everyone goes to their own crews.
It's a very interesting thing because we know that when we get up in the morning, no matter what goes wrong, no matter what big catastrophe happens, we have to get everything up in the air, and we have to do 2 shows a day.
Usually people pitch in and help each other out, as it has to be, because the show has to get up and ready on time.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if everyone who is here on the circus grounds will gather over here on the midway. Now, the first thing I want to do is welcome you to the grounds here at Circus Kirk. Circus Kirk, as you may know, is on its 2nd visit to your community. But I'm even prouder of the show we have for you this year. I think it's the best we've had in our 9-year history, and it all takes place in the Big Top, right down there. 3 rings of fun, action, and excitement.
I think people come and visit a circus to see something that isn't real, or something that could possibly be fantasy.
Lots of them are really sad, and they think this is like a miracle or something, like another world. The crowd is so different, extremely different in each town we go to. It's really amazing.
It's like someone once said, the people coming in don't care whether you had to work all morning to put up the tent. They don't care whether your truck broke down. All they care about is that they paid $3 or $2 to come in and see the show, and they want to see a good show.
Above ring number 1, an aerial ballet on the spinning Spanish web. Miss Karen Felt.
I've been working with the circus now for 2 years, and I never would have thought of it unless my dad didn't have such a love for it. The hardest thing to learn about the web was just climbing up. It takes the most strenuous. It's mostly, I always thought, my breath. If I could have my breathing right, then I could do almost any act. People just have 2 basic jobs, one during setup and teardown and one during performance. And my setup is not really a setup, it's taking care of the animals I really like to take the monkeys out of the cages sometime. Doc's been hesitant to do it because they're so small and quick and they'll get away really fast. If I go near them and start scratching their head and touching their arms and stuff, then they'll reach out and they'll do the same to me.
Above the center ring, on the single trapeze, presenting our Queen of the Air, Miss Mary Constance.
It starts off from this hand, but your right hand is able to get it back, but it isn't able to get the right kind of throw back. So it's all starting from your left hand. You've got to control the throws from your left hand. That's your big problem. Now, I love to teach people, and I'm always, you know, I'm always there if somebody wants to learn something. I've been teaching people how to juggle, and juggling is something that you really have to do yourself. All I can tell someone is what they're doing wrong or what they're doing right. I've taught other people how to do other things like fire eating, which is a little bit different. You really have to have a teacher present. And don't take a deep breath before you've shut your mouth, because if you notice, watch, there is an art to it. Art is different than trick, but art is still meaning that you have to be taught how to do this. You can't just learn it from seeing it on television.
A dazzling display of dexterity in all three rings, presenting the Sikorsky brothers.
I'm really a perfectionist. It's really funny, but when we come out of the ring, the act could have gone completely perfect except for one mistake. And I don't look at the things that went right, I look at the things that went wrong. And I don't want Albert and Larry and myself, I yell at myself inside a lot, believe me. I don't want them and me to think that we can get away with a drop. In the juggling act we do here, with all the passing tricks and the single juggling, we have approximately 9,000 catches in our hands with the clubs, among the three of us. And considering that we drop maybe at an average 2 clubs per show out of 9,000 chances, the averages are pretty low already. It's all experience is what it is. And Circus Kirk is a great place to get that experience.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tom, Al, and Larry, the Sikorsky brothers. Ladies and gentlemen, this does conclude this performance of Circus Kirk. We thank you very much for having been such a wonderful...
And directly after the second performance is tear down, take down everything, pack it up, which usually ends at about 11:30 or 12, and then to bed.
I could sit up for 3 or 4 hours every night just listening to silence because I never hear it. I get here in the morning and all the trucks are running around, they're pounding steaks, and the generator goes on, and that's on until 12 at night. And then it's so quiet, it's unbelievable, and I just sit up, and that's one day.
Please, take your time, please do be careful. Please do watch your step. For your own safety, leave only by the front exit, the way you came in. The main gate, please. Go out through the main gate, the way you came in. And if you want to take down the circus, any young men or young ladies, go to the center ring at this time. Report to the head rigger, the man with a blue hard hat, standing right out there in the middle of...
Well, here we go. Inside! Circus time, show time! Now we're going inside right here, right now. Let's go, let's fight the ice. Circus time, show time, and the fire eater. He'll perform. The man who eats fire, breathes fire, blows fire out of his mouth. runs fire over his body. You folks just coming on the showground. Come on over, come on in. 3 ticket boxes and no waiting, and 50 cents pays the way. Where did you ever think you could see so much entertainment for so little money? Holy smokes, 50 cents to see 8 big eyes. You'll see the fire eater, the man who eats fire and breathes fire and blows fire out of his mouth. He's a human volcano, a human Zippo. Well, what the eye sees, the mind has to believe. And when the long steel needle goes into the arm, hey, I'll watch strong men faint at that one. So you better come in and see the human pincushion in action. You will see the funny old magician, and he might even show you how he does some of those tricks. You will see the escape artist in the straitjacket. You will see the girl in the Oriental torture cabinet. You will see all of the other attractions, including the electrified wonder girl. The snake charmer will produce, first of all, a huge boa constrictor, and if you like snakes, you're at the right place. If you don't like snakes, there's only one thing to do. Bring your boyfriend or bring your girlfriend. Hold hands, it'll make you feel better. She's going to get the snake out anyhow, huh? They're going to do it all. They're going to do it all right here, right now, right in this tent, and the only time. You want to see the fire eater. You want to see the human pincushion. You want to see the magician. You want to see the escape artist. You want to see the snake charmer. Well, they're all in here and they're all alive. And twice 2 bits, twice 25, that's exactly what pays the way. So come on over, come on in, and see it all. You'll miss no part of it. Don't hesitate, don't hang back and don't slack.
See, the idea was to get a show that would be about this size. The size this is now I wouldn't change. The other idea was to have it all student. Now, that was my premise back in 1968, and I guess the premise was more or less correct because every summer we seem to come up with enough people to make the thing run. You go on something like this, it's a commitment to a way of life. It's not just a summer job. This is a tradition that goes back, you know, like we say, 150 years, 1826. And the concept of being self-contained and putting these tents up and down. At the same time, we're trying to entertain in addition to all this logistical problem. Fantastic challenge. And I think the people who are with us regard it as a challenge. That's why they stay. The challenge ever runs out, I guess they'd all leave.
Get close?
But they're not here just to entertain. They're here for a lot of reasons.
Back the truck up. Oh, Mary, hold on to the cable while he's back. Stay up the next corner, fools. Get up the next corner. There you go. Morning, guys. You ready under there?
Hey guys, we can't accept.
It took us a while at first to realize just how many 50 people are. And we were always running out of food at the beginning. But then as it came along, it got to be a routine. I would say, all right, we're going to have this and this and this for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And Jack would just say to himself, okay, we'll need 21 loaves of bread, 16 pounds of ground beef, 5 pounds of ground veal. We're going to have a salad, so I'll get about 5 heads of lettuce. And people look at him. You see, they're afraid to ask. You know, they're afraid that they might insult his intelligence or something by asking him, how come you have so much bread? I don't think I would enjoy cooking for one of the professional circuses. I'd rather cook for people my own age, people who like the kind of food I cook, and I don't have to worry about them lynching me at dawn if food isn't very good. It's really intriguing, the society that gets built up in and around a circus with 50 people working that closely and that intensely together. I'm glad to be able to just kind of sit back and be an impartial observer to it all.
Every year I think this thing gets more professional. The students who are attracted to it are certainly more highly skilled than those that we had. I remember back in 69 and 70 where we had maybe 1 or 2 people who carried the whole show. Well, now we have a pretty wide variety of acts, and we're into things like elephants and other animal acts that we were never into before.
Animals tend to be quite different when they're on the road from when they're in a barnyard. because it's a very tedious thing for them. They don't really understand it, and you have to understand it for them, especially ponies. They're like small children. A pony has an intelligence of about a 2-, 3-, 4-year-old child, and you have to be firm with them. The best means of control is voice and like hand signals. They can't distinguish separate words, but they can pick up tone quality of their voice. They know when you're mad. With the same word, they can know how you're saying it. That's what you mean. Ponies tend to be a lot feistier than a horse will be because they're smaller and they have to be quicker in the mind. And if a trick is difficult as far as their mental capacity goes, they will do everything in their power not to do it. Not just because it's hard, but because they'd like to get one over on you. It was basically a question of practice and practice and practice and get the routine down. The main thing was to pick up their cues. And when something happened wrong, it was because you did something wrong. And it was pretty hard to find out exactly what they were going to do with everything you did.
Well, this is my first year for it. I had 3 practices. We had one rehearsal, which I went up and fell down. And then, oh no, you don't get nervous. You just don't think about it. You just go up and do it. The only time I get nervous is when the cable starts wobbling back and forth or something is not going right. It's getting easier. I don't take as many, well, I've only fallen like twice.
Sideshow's okay. We don't carry freaks. We just have good acts in there. That's entertaining. It's just a little bit of, I guess, the old P.T. Barnum type thing. I don't think we have anything here that anybody could object to.
There's no trick to it. It's just a matter of putting fire in your mouth. You have to be taught how to do it, okay? You go step by step, touch it to your tongue first to get used to the heat because it is hot. And you build up a resistance to it on your lips, the upper, the roof of your mouth, and your tongue. So the first couple times, it's a different experience, but it's nothing that's too hard to learn. So you've got to get over your natural instincts, because it frightens you at first. Because you're brought up to believe since you're a child, that fire is something you don't touch, you don't play with.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if everyone here on the circus grounds or now coming to the circus will come on over here in front of the platform where I'm now standing. Come on down in this direction. Everybody come over here and form a semicircle right in front of me. We're going to start the entertainment of the afternoon. Now, there's no need to stand any other place on the grounds In fact, the only correct and safe place to be right now is over here in front of this platform. So come on now. Now don't be bashful. Come on, it's not going to cost you any money to stand right out here. Come on over here where everybody can see and hear real good. Then I won't have to talk quite so loud. Now I do want to welcome you to the grounds of Circus Kirk. We brought a fine show for you. It's a little bit different from any other circus on the road today, and I want to tell you why. Circus Kirk is composed entirely of students at high schools, colleges, and universities who come from across the United States, Canada, and Great Britain. We have a company of more than 50 people.
It's a clean show. All in all, it's a fantastic place, not only to improve the acts you do, but to learn other acts.
Each town is different. Each lot becomes its separate place. It's like it's your own home each day. And then when you move to another lot, you start looking for things where they were yesterday. And you know, it gets pretty mixed up. Oh, it's just totally different from anything I've ever done. I've been a waitress for 6 years, and as soon as I saw this, I thought, wow. With 50 kids from all over the country, and from Great Britain and everything, it's you're just thrown together, and you have to live together. You have to learn to like each other.
changes from an all-student format. I think that is definitely the appeal of the show. It's the thing that makes it unique. That's our gimmick. And I don't make any apology for it. That's exactly what we have here. We have something that's different than any other show on the road. And the fact that it's all students, well, I think the public kind of likes that. I don't know why sometimes people keep up these tented circuses, but they do.